Hey there guys, before I get started on this project I do want to give you a little bit of a warning, and that is that this video might not be the most interesting thing you've seen today because let's be honest, it's just an old utility trailer and it's not a whole lot to make it more interesting than it really is. But then I started thinking about it more and I was figuring, if you don't watch anything else today, this will be the most interesting thing you've seen today. So with that said, I'm going to show you how I redecked this old trailer, made a bunch of other repairs, and hopefully you might find it interesting. So let's get started. Now before I get started on this project, let me first show you what the trailer looked like before I did anything. Structurally, as far as the metal is concerned, it's in good shape. It's an Arizona trailer, so there's not a ton of rust. But you can see the decking is totally rotted out, and both fenders on each side have some damage from blowouts in the past. And hopefully I'm going to be able to make these look quite a bit better. And then the trailer jack, well, that thing is just totally shot. I tried oiling it before, and I think just everything, it just needs to be replaced. And then this ramp from previous use of bringing vehicles or side-by-sides in just needs to be re-welded and straightened out. Now once I got all the old rotted decking removed, I then prepped all of the structural members that the decking attaches to with some primer. And at that point I probably should have just painted the entire trailer, but I'll explain at the end why I didn't do that, and I did it a little bit backwards. And then for the decking I'm just using pine, and I'm coating it with 4 coats of 50% diesel fuel and 50% 40 weight hydraulic oil. And I had just read in some online forums that a lot of folks had good success with that, so that's what I'm using. And then all of these decking members on the outer edges slide in rather easily, but because this decking has to slip into a channel at the front of the trailer and the back of the trailer, you'll notice these middle sections, I have to bend them in place. I just use some scrap wood and a ratchet strap, and I just kind of yank it out so that it kind of slips in both sides. Well, I finally got all of the boards in, and they are about as tight as I can possibly get them. That last little clip you saw, I was adding some scraps of wood and some cable spool washers so that I could wedge all of the boards together from each side of the trailer. That way I have a little bit of a gap on either side to allow the wood to dry where it is sitting on the solid metal. And now what I'll do is I will drill holes for carriage bolts along some of those purlins. And then I will finish recoating this, and it is about as nice of a day as you could possibly ask for. Just big puffy clouds, blue sky, and no streaks. All right, guys. Well, I think that is pretty much going to do it for this utility trailer restoration project. As always, I hope you found it interesting, or at the very least, perhaps something I did during this little restoration might prove useful to you if you have a similar project that you, I don't know, might want to do, whether it's a trailer or something else. As for a couple of points that you may have questions on, the issue of the paint, you might have noticed towards the end that I had put all the decking on, and then obviously I painted it afterwards. Typically you would paint the whole trailer before you put the decking on, but I wasn't originally planning on painting it. I was just going to redeck the trailer and make a few other repairs. And then I happened to find just the perfect match of paint at my local Ace. And I said, well, shoot, you know, if I'm doing this, might as well go ahead and paint it since it was as close to the original color as possible. And speaking of color, if you are wondering why I painted it maroon or whatever that burgundy color is, that is because it is not my trailer. It's actually my brother-in-law Jeff's trailer, who has been so kind to let me borrow it probably a couple of dozen times over the last 10 years. And this whole project was just a way for me to say thank you for all the use that I've gotten from this trailer. As you can tell, I work on all sorts of random projects, and Jeff's always been my go-to if I wanted to borrow a trailer. You know, I figured it was worthwhile for me to totally restore this thing for him, since I've gotten so much use out of it, which is, you know, in the greater the greater scheme of things, just one of those rules I think folks ought to live by when you're borrowing tools. Make sure you not only return them as good as you borrowed them, but try to do something to make them better off. You know, whether it's a battery operated tool, making sure the batteries are topped off, chainsaw bar and chain oil is full, you know, those kind of things. Just make sure it is in better shape than when you took it, and that will hopefully keep you in the good graces of the person you're borrowing tools from, so you can borrow them again. Yeah, if the trailer was mine, you have no doubt that it would be probably some version of gray or some neutral color, as I like to paint things. Oh, one other thing on this trailer, you might have noticed at the end there is a little red and yellow lock on the coupler. That was actually something I found on Facebook Marketplace. It was just a cheapy kind of generic lock that didn't fit this, and I cut a hole in it to where it would fit on this coupler, and then I welded the pieces that kind of are angled on the top and the front. But anyway, so I didn't really include that because it was just an afterthought. I picked it up for about 20 bucks, and I figured, you know, that'd be a nice thing to add as well. But while I was doing that, I came up with some ideas that I might want to make another custom lock like I did for my travel trailer project for my horse trailer. So maybe that'll be a future project. Okay, now I'm just rambling, but anyway, hopefully you found it interesting. As for what is to come next, I wanted to show you guys this backdrop. You can see this is my main shop that you see me do a lot of videos at. This right here, I think I showed it a couple of videos ago for an update. This is a little expansion project I'm doing. This is going to be kind of like a metal shop, you know, all the grinders and metal saws and stuff like that. And eventually it's going to have a big 6-foot wide door that I'll do a video on, and some workbenches. It's about 17 feet long and about 10 feet in width. So anyway, I just wanted you to see that. It's not all trimmed out, so all that is just live edges of the roofing that you saw me acquire for the horse tack barn. And almost every one of those pieces is not a full-length piece, it's just overlapped because it was just scraps that I got for a steal of a deal. So anyway, I think that pretty much covers everything I was going to talk about. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked this, and until I see you again, God bless.